It's time for another daily driver repair episode. This time, that went bad. Let's go see what it is and what happened. That is the heater control valve, and as you can see, it is integrated into this heater hose. You can't separate it and just buy the valve. You got to get the whole hose assembly. And this end goes back to the heater core. This end goes down to the back of the block, and you can't really see it. And there is just a 2-wire plug-in. I only had heat here. No matter what I did inside, I couldn't get heat here going to the heater core. So I replaced it, and immediately I had heat on both sides, and end of story. That was my problem. Heater control valves historically have gone bad ever since they've had them. So just because it's electronic doesn't mean it's any better than the old style. So we know that this part is what's bad, and I kind of want to know how things work all the time. So I started taking it apart. I want to know, was it the solenoid that failed, or was it the actual valve itself? So to take it apart, there is a cover here with 3 screws. Take that apart. On the bottom, there is a pop-off cover here for the solenoid, which comes off. Then there are 2 screws that retain this solenoid in place. After that, you can drop this solenoid out, clip the 2 wires, and we can test it. So in a minute, we'll go test this on our battery, but let's finish taking this apart first, and then we'll check the solenoid. Let's see. So this originally was here, which is a worm drive. Over to hit this, like that. There are no screws that hold that in place. Those just sit on there. The cover actually retains those. For simplicity, I think I'm going to cut these hoses. All right. Much more manageable. Let's see, does this come apart farther without smashing? It looks like here it should separate. It's probably glued together. I don't see any screws holding it. So, can we pry it apart? Probably not without much damage, but we don't really care about damage anymore. I want to see inside here. So what are we gonna do? Interesting. All right. Yeah, that'll definitely come apart. I think all we need to do is maybe put it in a vise and sort of work on it. So let's do that. Sorry about the mess here in the background. A lot of stuff going on right now, so we're always fixing things, and sometimes I just don't get a chance to clean up. All right. It's really just an excuse. I just haven't cleaned up. There's always time. How can I get this valve out? Grindy wheel, maybe? Yeah. All right, I'm gonna take it over the grinding wheel and see if I can get this cover off. So I'll be right back. All right, back from the grinding wheel. I've got this down, so this should be just a thin cover to pry off now. There we go. See, that was my whole point. I didn't want to damage this. I wanted to see what the valve looked like on the inside. And it looks like plastic bearing and a valve. And that valve is turning freely. Oh. This is a 90-degree turn check valve. So inside, as you can see, that's straight through. And what this does is when it is in this position, coolant passes through it. You turn the heater off. This turns 90 degrees. Coolant no go anywhere. Can't. Blocks it. So solenoid has to be the problem. But I kind of want to test it and see what happens anyways. So let's get a couple test wires and go over to our battery and see what happens here. I have the solenoid hooked up to a battery. This is my ground, negative terminal. This is going to positive. I just want to see if that spins or jumps out at all anymore. No, it does not. Solenoid does nothing. So there's a problem. Solenoid did die on us. Don't know why. Electronics die. They do it all the time. So that's why we replaced it. And heat works perfect now. Good things out of today. 1, I have heat back. And 2, we all know how those heater control valves work inside Nissan Titans. Now you know. And with that, We'll see you next time.